Have you ever been in love?
I have been in love. Yes.
Talk to me about it.
Love don't live here anymore. No, I'm not gonna say that. I have been in love. I was married. I was married for 4 years. We met in 2013. A year into me starting my transition. I started in 2012. I met him in 2013. And I met him, I found him at McDonald's. He just saw me outside.
What city was this?
Jacksonville, Florida, home. And he saw me and he just saw legs. And he was like, he liked tall girls. And put up on me. And first thing, I'm one of those girls, I let people know what it is up front. But he was game. And we hung out that night. And literally, and crazy part about this, nothing sexual. Nothing sexual that first night. Did I want to, or did he want to? He probably did, and yeah, I did. I'm keeping 1,000. But we didn't have nothing sexual. It was like the first time we kissed that night, and I swear it was like we kissed for literally, I swear, like hours. What it felt like, but it probably was some, a long time. But it felt like hours, and we kissed and we kissed, and that was that night. Literally the next day he called me and we talked on the phone for 2 hours. And you know what they say, if you can have an intellectual conversation with someone, that's someone to pay attention to.
Without a doubt.
Because not everybody can keep your, or grasp your attention span that long. And anyone that can catch it is someone to pay attention to. So I noticed how the conversation just went in so in depth and us getting to know each other. And honesty from him came out in that first conversation. Literally the 2 hours, a lot of honesty of him telling me a lot about himself. And long story short, at that time he was just ending a divorce and from his second marriage, and so he was like really single, fresh single. And that's kind of odd for a lot of trans women to run across a man who is trans attracted, but he literally doesn't have a wife, a girlfriend, or anything that he's tied to, like talking to or whatever. Like this man was fresh single. So I think that is an advantage to my storyline that I did have that a lot of girls don't really get when they run across a man. But anyways, nevertheless, he was a DL guy at that time because no one knew of his likings or dealing with trans women or even me. And even my time with him in the beginning, I didn't see him in the daytime. It was what it was, And when as time went on, months went on, I felt for me, well, dang, I see somebody liking me. And the type of guy he was in the city, it was like, I didn't feel the need to be one of the girls to talk to so many different dudes, because the type of dude that I know a lot of us want, he was liking me, I was liking him, so I was good. Moving forward, timeline into a year went by, I noticed things he was being more open with me, like the nighttime stuff was eliminated. I was seeing him in the daytime and we was hanging out, riding around, I'm in the city, floating, it was fun. And 2 years ago, 2015 come around and he asked me just out the blue, like, I want to know what it's like dating, he said, one of you. And so I was like, what you mean? He's had dealings with trans women before me, but again, no one knew what he looked like past 3 o'clock in the morning. Gotcha. Anyways, it was a shocker to me, but the first thing he did was introduce me to his mom.
Wow, it's a big deal.
Right.
It's huge.
So I was shocked, and she didn't know at first that I was trans. So me and her kicked it off like instantly. She was just like, oh my gosh, Brandy girl, you're just so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. So everything from there, she was like, great. And he did it. He was willing to take everything. That was my number one thing I was concerned about, because I was like, I've never taken, yes, I was being a hustler again, I was involved in sex work, but he was the guy who understood what it took for me to, maintain and all, and being with me as my boyfriend when that time came on. But I was saying to myself was, well, are you really willing to deal with what comes with it? Because I've never had a boyfriend being Brandy. So it was like, you're my boyfriend. I want to make sure that I'm going to have, and you're going to treat me the way that I know I want to be treated and protect me. Really, I want to say protecting was my first most importance. Then it was how you treat me, because I feel like I'm a trans woman, you're a man.
Right.
You know, seeing the way he handled and how he protected me, how he showed me, I'm doing this here.
Right.
It was no care about what the baby mama said. It was no care about what brothers or sisters said, or friends or homeboys, homegirls from the neighborhood. It was no problem about it. I'm rocking with you. I'm here with you. He was a drug dealer in the city of Jacksonville, and he caught in a case. That situation happened in 2016 with him. Of course, at that time, I'm going into 3 years of knowing him, a good year and a half of us in our relationship. So when he got locked up, he wound up doing a year and a half in prison. And that was another, to me, I looked at as a test, in regards to our relationship. We wound up getting married before he went away. The thing is, I feel why I say it was a test is when a person is not there.
Right. And
for me to be the girl that I am, and I could have been out here in the streets just falling for other men, but for me it was, I stayed on my grind, and I stayed focused on, I got a home that I have to protect and take care of, me and him. And so as I wrote that time out, I knew I needed to change my environment. So I wound up moving to Atlanta, and I moved to Atlanta the year 2017 that we got married, and he wound up leaving to go off to prison in 2017. So the case went on for a year before he wound up leaving. Straight away goes, he left, and I'm here in the city of Atlanta new. At the time though, when I got married, matter of fact, actually when he proposed to me, I stopped sex work. Because when being my boyfriend, he was okay with it. We even would go out of town and everything. But when he got to the point of saying he wanted to marry me, he did have that talk with me, like, I don't want you doing this though. I know you have the brain. He always said, I love your brain, I love your brain. And he knew that I was able to work a 9 to 5. So I wound up getting a job at United Health, and I worked. I got a job in Jacksonville first, transferred my job from Jacksonville up here to Atlanta, and I worked. I was like, you know what, I can do it. Yes, it was a pay cut that I took. It was. Yeah. And at that time, him being away, it was still just me, 1 bedroom, I was good. It wasn't so much that I needed for myself to upkeep. I was good. I was able to hold it down with the job that I had. I was making, decent money for a person who worked a 9 to 5. Then he come home, and when he came home in 2019, it was our time to rebuild back what, the year and a half had taken from us. He then, of course, was due to Atlanta, no friends, no family and stuff. And I actually felt that me being there for him, I helped him because he was able to get a job, and he also got a job, a man who's never worked, who hasn't worked in 18 years. He's older than me by 12 years. So I wouldn't say that. So for him, who's never worked, he got a taste of what I say real life is, and being a real man. And then on top of, he became a manager, and he had a really decent job as well. So the two incomes of us working together, and I felt okay. Even when I would sit and see other girls that I knew and all, and that was still in a lifestyle and stuff, it didn't bother me because it's not like I went down anywhere. I was still being Brandy, on social media, still posting the pretty pictures, posting pictures with me and him together, showing our lifestyle. Like, y'all see that this is, and the image that my ex-husband gave, he's a man, he's, well, we like to say he's that nigga, so I will say he gave that image for me, and it was great. Nice. It was great. And just like real life, everything isn't perfect. Just like in life, I say nothing's perfect. And people have flaws, or there are things about people that you just don't like. Their ways and actions, or what they may like you don't like. Hi, this is Brandy Bugotti. Make sure you hit your bell notification on YouTube and subscribe to Night Light Interviews to check out the full interview with me, Brandy Bugotti.